Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to apologize. Apology makes you seem weak. I did use a lot of language because the election fraud, it's really made me angry. If it did happen. And as such, the Golden Cowboy knows you don't make excuses. If you thought anything, you know there is the possibility of election fraud. So it shows you're a weak planner. You should have came up with something that would have stopped that beforehand and came up with something that could counter it if, sorry for using the Mussolini finger, if it existed at all. Been around some people picking up habits. Got to watch out for that. Now, in saying this, one of the things that did lead me to the 4 mystical green chickens, I will say this. There was a school situation out in California where people had paid for scholarships or favorable situations. People do that a lot. It was so commonplace from one person that kind of led me on a thing that when I mentioned it to him and told him about how there was movies, everything else, and how it even with made it into different movies out there, that they got the guy when the guy was trying to be bribed and stuff and took out actual coaches. And they're like, oh my God, I can watch this and learn. I can do so much more than this. I will be honest, I never saw that person ever again. There was a hack that came through that I hate saying I heard about it. And then they said, we can do all this with our switch outs for everything and have this done internationally. I'm not saying these are the necessarily yellow-headed chickens that turn green like bad gold. But I so would say, if Will Smith says maximally we're 9 points of separation off being a movie, you have no idea that it's probably just like 2 or 3 separational points off. And they coordinated all this because these are the big places that if you want a huge, great Harvard education for the price of going to the local state community college or less, go to these places. Other than in Europe, you may have to have a scholarship and apply for a lot. And you may be able to get something from your family's GI Bill because there's a base in almost every one of these countries. And they're part of NATO. So, as that, if there is election fraud, that one conversation with that person being so high up, and I know that they do things with some nefarious people, could lead directly to a network like this. And next time in the Democratic cycle, there'll probably be a network over here with 4 or 5 people or little groups, and it will probably be hushed up, pushed under the rug, just like when Biden took office. There are no riots, there is nothing, and the only thing that will happen is that it happens only in Washington, D.C. Which in a way I do like his attitude. It's like, come on, bring it to me. There ain't no place else you need to be. You got it, you bring it here. That's why he's got the guard. That's why he's got the army. That's why he's got the barriers. That's why he's got everything. Now, do I agree with it totally? Not really, with all the monuments and how important it is and how it's kind of like it's the people's capital. And the president is of the people, like the Senate and everything else. There is a way that I could and be like there's a magic dome that USA people can only pass into and their guests of choice and everything just happens outside of it past the Beltway. Yeah, I'd probably do that, and then they screamed, I hate suburbanites or whatever major city and inner city people that it ran through or anything else. But it's like I'd rather have swans and birds and dogs and cats playing with each other and not tearing each other apart. But I've lived in a perfect world a lot. It's almost so easy with how hackers go in and put their stuff for World of Warcraft on satellites so they can download it in Afghanistan on their R&R time, setting it up a year before they go into the service. Therefore, they can say they've got an NSA access point if they ever want to move up and out of the branches. Golden Cowboy.